Today we're going to practice graphing absolute value functions using the OMG Math method. The first thing we're going to do is write down what we observe. In this equation, we observe that we have an absolute value function, and we also know that absolute value functions, when graphed, make a V. Our mission is to take this function and to graph it on an XY plane. Our game plan is to find the vertex, which is of the form h, k, put the vertex in the middle of our XY chart, and then find two other XY coordinates and graph all 3 points. The vertex of an absolute value function is always your h and k value, which h is always inside the absolute value signs and k is at the end. When we write the vertex for an absolute value function, we always take the opposite sign. So instead of writing it as -2, 1, we're going to write it as +2, 1. Then we're going to make our XY chart. 2, 1 will go in the middle. We pick an x value that is smaller than 2 and one that is bigger than 2. It doesn't matter which ones you pick. I'm going to pick 1 and 3 because they are the smallest. Then I take 1 and I plug it in for x and solve for y. Remember that y is equal to the absolute value of 3x minus 2 plus 1. So I'm going to take this equation and I'm going to plug 1 in for the x. 3 times the absolute value of 1 minus 2 plus 1 will simplify to the absolute value 1 minus 2 is going to simplify to -1 inside the absolute value plus 1. The absolute value of -1 is +1, and 1 times 3 is 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. We already know the y coordinate for 2, so we don't have to do that one. And then we do 3. So we're going to take 3 times the absolute value, plug in 3 for our x, minus 2 plus 1. 3 doesn't change. 3 minus 2 is 1, plus 1. The absolute value of 1 again is 1. 1 times 3 is 3, and 3 plus 1 is also 4. What you'll notice is that if you pick an x value smaller and an x value bigger that are equidistant from your x value of your vertex, your y values will always be the same. Now that we have 3 x, y coordinates, we're going to take those and plot them. So this first one, we're going to go to 1, 4, and plot our first point. Then we're going to plot the point 2, 1. So we go over to 2, up 1. And then our last point is 3, 4. So we're going to go over 3, up 4, and plot our graph. Because it is a V, I know I have graphed it correctly. And if the question were to ask me for the axis of symmetry, the axis of symmetry is always the line through your vertex that cuts your graph in half and makes it look symmetrical. So now that I have my V and my axis of symmetry, I know I am finished and I have graphed the absolute value function.
Thank you guys so much for watching my videos. If you want to get better at math, subscribe to my videos here. If you want more information on math, click on my website link here.